Alright, welcome back, YouTubers, to the highly anticipated but much delayed Russian front. And we are now at the Soviet replacement step. And all the replacements and reinforcements are going to start coming in. But before they do, I want to show you my progress I've made after 3 months or 3 turns. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we'll start on down here and look at the situation. Like I said, wasn't able to drive back away from the oil field, but I still have control of that. How long that's going to last is anybody's guess. We've all restationed our naval and air units. You can see he's got his in a pretty well forward position. He's got a nice strong fleet back there in the Black Sea, but no combat's coming anywhere close to any of the shores, so he won't be using that. I don't know what he's going to do for a push. But capital of Hungary looks like it's pretty well undefended. Now I got a bunch of reinforcements coming in. I think it's no, I gotta wait till next summer. So I got all winter. All winter's coming in too. There's some kind of access restrictions on what happens in their first winter. So I guess the Germans weren't prepared to be out for so long. kind of like my scenario. But anyway, we're moving on up here. Kind of see what's going on. I threw his armor into some of those clear hex areas, trying to make a push. And I do have some resistance there, enough to last me at least to the next month. I went ahead and positioned my air units forward position there at that little city. I can't tell what city it is. I ain't gonna move right now, but there you go. You can see now I cut a couple of his units, or a few of his units, out of supply. So that'll definitely finally get rid of that, get rid of that pesky city. It took her out of supply to get him out of there. You can see where I positioned some more of my air units. But this is the extent of my armor movement, and we were just out of supply there at Smolensk. You can see we just didn't make it to Moscow. Now, this little spot here looks empty now, but it's about to get all hammered with all kinds of Soviet units in my opponent's turn. Come on up here, and I got my supply lines pretty well solidified. If he tries to get back in there, you get my pointer or pen. If he tries to get back up in here, I got response movement, so my zones of control pretty well protect me all the way around. I got these guys waiting to be launched again, probably. We'll have to see what the weather's like in the fall. Make a little bit of progress up here in the fall and hold off for another spring offensive. I'm sure winter conditions are definitely going to bog me down, but nothing going up north here. That fleet's pretty well got me held back with the Finnish units. So I don't know if he's going to... I'd like for him to use his fleet on some kind of attacks up here, so maybe I'll try to... what do you call it? Divert that fleet to some key attacks up here. Because if he goes and gets this fleet of mine down here, it's over for all this supply, and I need to build up my supply lines more. And that will be top priority. But there's a look at the board until he gets his units on. Like I said, he held them off. Don't know if it was a wise unit move or not. We'll find out. Because it is August. At least coming around Leningrad, Kharkov, Moscow, and Sevastopol. Okay, that'll do it. We will be back. I don't know how much I'm going to get done. It is a work night, and we got some baseball to watch. But we might get on and open us up some emails. Look at what my opponent's up to. Having fun with some retro Russian front. Be back. All right, we are back, and we're going to continue with the replacement step. I just want to make a few notes before I went on there. He gets his replacement factors based on these cities, and here's the cities right here. Luckily, city right here, Minsk, is under German control. And that little 1 symbol there is the number of replacement factors. So he gets replace losses in his army based on his population centers and how many he has under his control. Luckily for me, I have that one. Now he still gets a extra replacement factor for an oil field, and I believe that's down here, all the way down south. So he'll get one for that. But we'll look over here on the good old replacement chart for August, and he gets 14 or 4 factors for off board, but his on boards will be -1 because I have Minsk, so it'll make it 13. But he gets another 1 for the oil field, which keeps it at 14. So he gets 14 replacement factors. I only got 8. So yeah, bring them on. The Russians are definitely coming. I've yet to deploy any of his units. Got to open up some Vassal logs, but I just want to make a little note there as far as replacement factors go. So I'm going to go see what, and I don't see he's got too many casualties. So he might have to have himself some saved up, put it in the old accumulated replacement box. Then there's reinforcements that are coming on, but we are going to be back, and I got some openings to do. But with the magic of YouTube, it'll only take a second. Alright, we're back. And my opponent has replaced all of his units and has not accumulated any replacement factors. So he went through all 14 of those suckers. He was not able to. I thought maybe he had some residual units that still had losses. Mostly replaced everything around here. The only limitation to these replacements is you can only replace 2 factors per unit. So down here in this unit here, this one had 4 hits on it. He was only able to take off 2, and those 2 factors were needed to replace those hits. You use 1 factor for infantry, 2 factors for armor, naval, and air, and you're only limited to 2 factors to replace per unit. But he did replace. No, he ain't got no units here. This is the vast wasteland and is about to get hammered with Russian hordes. But anyway, and I think he replaced the damage I did on that major fleet of his. I'm not going to remove the units, but he does have another naval fleet there that he didn't have enough hits for, so he actually needed 14, 15. Let's see, he actually needed 15 hits to get all those hits taken away, and he only had 14. So this naval unit down here, and it's a weaker unit. It's not the big 5-factor boy. It's a smaller unit, but it still has a hit on it. And the what unit is this down here? It's causing me all the trouble. The 19th Infantry Corps Army from the Interior Forces. Yeah, he's still got a couple hits on him, and there's another unit also underneath him. So that is it on the replacements. I want to also show you that he does have 1 factory already off board. We'll see if he moves any more during his real movement phase, but you only use factories when there's dots, on months with dots next to them. I guess we'll be getting down there in a while. But anyway, that's about it. I will show you the results of his reinforcements entering a new phase. I had my shot at this game, and that's pretty much it. Real brief commentary here. You do have a chance to have an Army Group Center, or Army Group South, excuse me, an Army Group Center, an Army Group North. I put all my Panzers in one push towards Moscow, trying to split his forces. I was able to only to get this far. No advancements in the south, and there's some nice replacement cities I could have got. So my strategy could have been, totally horrible. We'll see right now. I definitely didn't make that much progress. Resistance was tough, and my window was also opened even wider by him holding back his reinforcements, but didn't do me no good. It was tough resistance center, and it just equals out in the bad die rolls, actually. So there you go. Bad luck schmucks. What do they call it? Bad luck schlep rocks. There you go. There's Smolensk with that one next to it, and then a little bit on up the railroad line, Moscow. We'll see if I can get there. Back with the Soviet reinforcements. All right, and we have it completed. Here are the reinforcements for the Soviet player, and he didn't hold anything back this turn. They're all gone. But to be honest with you, it don't look that bad. Yeah, I guess when you lay them all out, it looks worse than it is, but I think it's something I can deal with. And here we go. All his units that are on reinforcements are turned kind of sideways. So you can see down here, he's got them in Sevastopol. He deployed them outside of Kharkov. And these here are, he kept them on the rail lines. He's got a few, all they are is infantry. He's got a lot of men. I think he's just throwing human waves at it. Kind of like the movie Enemy at the Gates. Either go forward or because you can't go backwards. So there you go. All kinds of Soviet troops, infantry on the rail lines outside of Kharkov. Over here, now these were some of the reinforcements that he held back, and he got himself some infantry. And I think there's a cavalry unit in there. Yeah, a cavalry unit. So he reinforced down here. I guess put some units to protect that air base. Over here is where he made his major reinforcements. He just stocked that infantry into the woods northwest of Moscow, and he's got about 3 or 4 units in Moscow. 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 infantry inside the fortress. Oh, not Moscow. I'm sorry. Smolensk. Here's Moscow down here. And he also has a nice little stack of units. I think this was his reinforcements that came in that he had to deploy either in Moscow or adjacent. He decided to get a little bit of a 1 hex advantage in movement, and he's got them on the rail lines, so that always helps. But there's 2 cavalry units plus a infantry unit outside of Moscow, which really is, like I said, is not that tough. I mean, he's got numbers, but my panzers, along with some good air support, cut through that like a hot knife through butter. So there is that. There's the extent of it. He also has a few units he just deployed up there along Leningrad. But as far as Leningrad, Moscow, Smolensk. Oh, ooh, what we got here? Gomel. That's about the size of it. We will see what happens with all of his movements, his paradrops, and or his naval amphibious landings. We are over here at the... Oh, let's go down here with me. Replacement reinforcement step, rail movement steps. So more vassal logs to open up. I got to straighten up, do some housekeeping, and we'll be back. Okay, we got a note to make. As far as the rail movement is concerned, my opponent has chosen to, as per... Oh, where we got that at? Over here. Rail movement of flotilla units. Flotilla, but not a fleet. Naval units may be moved by rail movement from one friendly port city to another friendly port city. Each flotilla unit printed, regardless of its attack factor, moved by rail movement expends as much rail capacity of the rail movement as 2 combat units. So he's got 2 factors. That would equal 4. He's got a 4 total factors he can move by rail each turn. So he has taken all that. The only thing I want to check out, though, to see if it's legal, is yeah, okay, that's the key there. He's got an anchor in that city, so it's a port city. So he's going to move those 2 factors at 2 rail movement factors per factor, which equals 4 for that 2. And he's moving them over here to Leningrad. So he will join these other fleets. This is the big fleet here. Oh, wait, hold on. This little fleet here is the one that couldn't get its hit removed. He used up all of his replacement factors, but that will be a new fleet going into Leningrad. Now, I thought he would use some rail movement factors to hold on, let me get this all set, to get a factory off the board. But he chose this strategy instead, and something tells me his goal is to get my fleet here at Riga. Because like I said, he gets that fleet and this supply line becomes obsolete. I'll just supply my units another way. I don't think these are connected yet. Oh, that's right. That city there hasn't connected them, so I need to get that city there to get this little line connected, and it'll don't matter if he gets that fleet. So anyway, that's what's going on there. He has moved a fleet by rail, or not a fleet, a flotilla. And here's the difference. When they say that you can move one of these, a flotilla, but you can't move a fleet. So he moved a flotilla by rail, used up all of his movement factors, rail movement factors. The next vlog I will be opening up on Vassal will be the special phasing. So we'll see if he does any naval invasions, paradrops, and all other good stuff. So we will see. Oh, he also gets a chance to air supply some of these units, but he'll be wasting valuable air factors that could be used for closed air support on some of these attacks. There we go. Might call this one an upload, and we'll be back with some more crate Russian front. Having a good time. Hope you are enjoying the strategies. Be back.